Today I rise to honor two American heroes. The first is Army Sergeant Daniel Tallouzi. Sergeant Tallouzi was the kind of soldier who hated getting injured, not because of the pain, but because it stopped him from doing his job. A fellow soldier describes meeting Dan when Dan was recovering from an injury at Fort Hood. The soldier recalls, quote, "Another person might have been seriously injured, but Big Dan Tallouzi shook it off, refused any pain meds, and only wanted to get back to his crew and back to the job that he loved." On September 25, 2006, Dan Tallouzi had just gotten off duty at Camp Taji in Baghdad when a mortar exploded nearby. A single piece of shrapnel, roughly the size of a quarter, reached the spot where he stood. It hit him behind his right ear and entered his brain. Big Dan Tallouzi would never be the same. He returned to the United States in an eyes-open coma, unable to speak, walk, or even eat on his own. Last week, he died in Albuquerque, New Mexico, the town where he was raised. The other hero I want to honor today is Mary Tallouzi, Dan's mother. When our soldiers serve in harm's way, the burden is borne by families, not just individuals. Dan Tallouzi understood this as well as anyone. He adored his family, and they adored him. Mary remembers Dan coming home on leave with flowers for his sister and hugs for the whole family. Home videos show him clowning for his cousins, infecting those around him with warmth and joy. When Dan returned from Iraq after his injury, his mom quit her job to follow him through his treatment. First, she left New Mexico for a hospital in Germany. When Dan was transferred to Walter Reed, Mary followed. Then, in search of a miracle, she had Dan transferred to the Kessler Institute in New Jersey. At Kessler, Mary spent 12-hour days by her son's bed. In the morning, she would shave Dan's face, brush his teeth, and put on his favorite cologne. Nurses knew that Mary was watching her son's care like a hawk. When I met Mary last May, she was back in New Mexico with Dan. After traveling for more than a year, Mary had lost her home and was struggling to find a place that could accommodate her son's needs. What struck me about Mary was the satisfaction she felt in Dan's achievements. After all that she had experienced, all that she had suffered, Mary Tallouzi would still light up when she talked about her son. You could see her picturing the old Dan, and you could feel how proud she was. Mary should be proud of Dan, and she should be proud of herself. She raised a good soldier, a good son, a good man. She bore the sacrifice that war brings, and she bore it well. Please join me in recognizing the sacrifice of Dan, Mary, and the entire Tallouzi family.